All right, I'm recording.
Woohoo!
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My precious,
Hi.
my precious Dungeon and Dragon children.
Hi.
ASMR channel.
Welcome to the penultimate episode
Oh my
of The Rise of Nagath.
I literally asked my father this evening, like, what happens if we die? And he's like, in general or in your game? And I was like, no, I'm not talking about Jesus, Dad. I'm talking about my game.
I thought we had the Jesus talk a while ago.
I was like, no, Father.
Okay, let's do a quick recap. Because the last session, there was
a
some,
doozy.
last session there was some stuff that went down.
A little bit.
So, you got back to your little home away from home, a refurbished Lights Hope orphanage, and you discovered that little baby Ander has the ability to make flowers, and boy does he enjoy that ability. He loves doing that. He did
Inside,
it all over
outside, in your hair, wherever.
Yeah, just wherever. And you also discovered that Mother Tremaine is a lot more perceptive than any of you fuckers. She knew immediately that there was a little dispute going on between the Eshmer, and she also did a little number to correct that. Also, your mother, Baku, fucking finished making the Anvatar, or assembling the Anvatar, or whatever it was she was doing, something like artificing.
And it is not a cool sword.
It is not a cool sword. It is not a cool sword.
I'm not disappointed. I don't know about you.
Everyone else is disappointed. Shut up.
Buck is just like, eh.
I'm
Okay,
ambivalent.
Everyone that matters is disappointed.
Excuse you.
So just
So
you.
you and your brother?
Yes.
I don't think your brother matters.
Buck was like, I concur.
After you had completed it, you took a little dragon trip up to the sky,
Fly.
and you looked all the way down, and you saw this unbelievably long, it's got to be at least 3,000 miles long, fissure running down the center of Faerun, which that seemed like a big deal.
Yeah.
And
Guys.
it was sort of decided that perhaps the best place to go was maybe toward the center of that big old fissure.
I mean,
I vote against that plan. I think it's a bad plan.
Oh, she's Moran says, "Oh well, if you have a suggestion, I would love to hear it."
I was going to stay on the ground. Back somewhere else.
I laugh,
Literally.
but I'm 100% there with you, like, on that.
She looks back at you
Heights
like
and me.
she looks back at you like she can't quite understand why you're so nervous. Like, what's wrong with you?
I have no fly spells, and I'm, miles up in the air.
We could teleport.
You don't know where it is.
Never mind, we can't teleport. I don't know where it is.
Helpful.
I'm just saying, if I knew where it was.
Yeah, I think I've just decided that Ember is horribly afraid of heights.
Yeah, Vasha established that at the end of the last one.
Guys, why are you so afraid?
Okay, I was about to be like, why are you whispering? You sound sick.
Yes.
This is my ASMR channel.
Hi guys, welcome to Kay's ASMR channel. Moran swoops back down and drops you all back off at the Lights Hope orphanage, and she says, "All right, we need to prepare, gather up everything you think you may need, and we need to leave."
Buck
no
like shoves
arguments
rabbits in bag. It's like, okay, I'm ready.
She looks kind of doubtfully, and she's at you, Bakano, and she's like, "Are you sure you want to take them to maybe the end of the world?"
Do we want to
If they're
not
gonna
leave
die,
them?
I'd like them to be with me.
She says, "Okay."
I mean, I could leave them here, but then I don't know. It will make me sad.
Bunnies.
Yeah. Why not?
How-
They can witness the end of the world or not, whatever.
Oh,
Who knows
man. Okay, but are they going to impact you in battle? I think that's the real question.
I think not having them with them would worry.
I think so
Them
too,
more.
yeah. That's what I was thinking. Buck
And
would be like, what? No.
To be clear, what I'm saying, in game mechanics wise, is if you want to take something that's not already in your equipment list, say so now, because I'm going to be
Yeah.
very strict about these next two episodes and what you have and what you don't have.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Do we have potions?
Okay,
Do
well,
we have?
I
Oh,
definitely have the Avatar.
Yes, exactly. That's important.
Did
We need
establish that last time.
I
Yes.
have
I know.
Okay, good.
I have the plot. Yes.
Okay, great.
Look, I didn't actually. I think I
No,
clarified
no.
that too late.
Not the plot, the MacGuffin.
Okay, so is there anything? Okay, so we're going to a crevice in the middle of nowhere. Is there anything we'll need while we're there?
Crap, I've got to check on Roll20 to see if my full equipment list is around, because this is not everything that I have.
My equipment list is always around until you made me get rid of the. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Until
okay.
the
Until our DM made us get rid of
Until
it.
it made us get rid of the spoon. Made me get rid of my favorite spoon.
Oh
And then, you know,
no.
other stuff that, you know,
Actually-
Escher chucked out.
Actually, I'm gonna grab a spoon.
Oh, God.
Spoon discourse again.
Oh
Cool.
god. Here we go with the fucking spoon bullshit.
Baku's
Putting
just
it-
like looking around like, is this a human thing?
this is going in my goddamn inventory right now. I'm literally writing it down.
So I built
Baku looking at Vasha like, I don't understand.
I don't either. It's okay.
So I built Escher's character sheet kind of in a hurry when I made him a cleric because I was just like, I'll just do it and get it out of the way. And I never really filled out his gear, his gear and equipment list. So all I have in there is healing potions, 2d4 plus 4 x3, Tremaine signet ring, and the description says "aw." And then below that, I have ventriloquist dummy. Looks like Strahd von Tsarevich.
Really useful thing.
Only
That
the
feels like
essentials
exactly-
for Escher.
I say that's exactly the kind of thing he would have. I mean, come on, let's be serious here. Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
your fiance.
Oh, and
Escher
speaking
always-
of, I hope if you haven't yet, you have gotten rid of that +2 to AC because that only lasted 2 days.
oh yes, I am gonna do that right now.
Yeah.
I never plugged it in. I just
Yeah, I
put
was
it
like, I don't
on
think I
the
did either.
paper.
No, the
Yeah.
engagement
No,
ring.
it was just for me.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was like, what?
The engagement ring, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, now I go back to 20. God damn.
Oh no.
No.
I'm so sad about it. Can I marry him again?
Break up and then get engaged again.
I mean, we basically almost did that last time.
No.
So,
yeah.
They
There
kind of
was-
did.
So much drama last time. Good lord.
okay. No, I mean, I feel like I have everything I'm gonna be able to reasonably carry. Like, quite frankly, if I were carrying any more things, it'd be very embarrassing. So.
Oh yeah, that would be embarrassing. Not the fact that you brought a fucking spoon to the end of the world.
You always have to make sure you have a spoon in case you're hungry.
Baku's
mean-
like, I guess.
So I added back in my healer's kit, my potions, and my flask of holy water because those didn't carry over from the old character sheet.
Yeah, healer's kit. Actually, I should probably add that in because Escher definitely has a healer's kit.
Yeah.
Baku definitely has their stupid cloak. It's still gonna be there.
That terrible, awful, stupid cloak.
It sure
Nice.
is.
Okay, so wait,
Nice.
real quick. Let's do a logistics thing. So we're going to an island. with a
No.
crack in it.
You're
No,
not going
we're
to an
not.
island.
You're
You're
not
going. You're at the middle of the crack is somewhere in Faerun.
Okay.
You don't know exactly where it is because you were too busy being scared.
Of giants. Okay, fine. So
Accurate.
I don't know if we need to bring like special clothes or anything like that.
It is.
I mean,
It is from your brief glance. It is somewhere in the middle south of Faerun, maybe somewhere in Cormyr.
Okay. You say that like that means something to me.
Yeah. No, the
Okay,
climate.
I got it.
The climate in Cormyr is temperate, so yeah, it's
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I was
But
like, just
so
picture me
grabbing-
nodding my head sagely.
fine.
grabbing an extra cloak might not be a bad idea just because we're going to be flying.
Oh, I still have my sweater.
The fuzzy sweater. We've come
The
full
fuzzy
circle,
sweater.
everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember, it's got the Lathander, it's got the giant sun on the middle, and it's
Oh
white.
my god, that
It's-
one, yeah. Everyone
Yeah.
bring your sweaters that Lady Tremaine knit for you. Just in case, for wind chill, you know.
But now I think because I think I took it through hell. Oh no, it wasn't in hell because it was hot in hell. Never mind. I was gonna say it would be great if it had like a little like burn marks all over
I
it.
think
Like,
you did take it through hell.
Yeah, I
though,
think
we
because
had
there was
the
ice.
level.
Hmm.
Yeah, remember what Strahd,
There we
the icy
go.
level? Yeah.
The
Remember
ice
that
level.
fight,
Jesus.
everybody?
so
The ice
so now
lord.
it's not really white anymore. It's kind of a dingy gray.
Okay.
Okay. So short answer for me is I've got everything I need.
Okay.
I've got everything that I remember that I'm going to need, and then I'm sure I'll forget something and be mad about it.
The other question to consider is what you want to do with Moran and Mordenkainen. Their first instinct is going to be to come with you. But if you want them to stay behind and protect your family, they will also do that if you ask.
can we leave Mordenkainen and bring Baku's mom? It's like, one of you has to stay. Both of you don't need to come.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. How are we going to get back there if Mordenkainen and the mom don't, or if your mom doesn't come, mostly?
Yeah, because we don't know where we're
I
going.
guess she
so.
could drop us off.
Well, as long as Baku knows, like, where the...
She's going to drive us in her minivan.
No, she's not. She
Honk,
is
honk.
the minivan.
Hop in, kids.
Hop on.
This is my favorite thought ever.
Yeah, when your mom is a dragon, she is the minivan.
Nice.
Okay, what are the relative merits of that? Them staying and protecting. I feel like the answer is that if we should just all go, because otherwise we just all die. There's just no point. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't succeed,
It would definitely help having a giant dragon
And,
on
like,
our side.
The
And, like, the
alternative is if Varane is up to something.
Right, exactly. You
Yeah.
could sneak and be like, well, you were here. Ha ha ha. I have your mother, Ember.
Yeah, I feel like
Oh.
one or the other of them should stay.
Mm.
okay, that's fair.
Probably Mordenkainen, just because it'll be easier for
He's not a
Moran to get
dragon.
us there.
Right.
Like, as much as I hate the idea of flying, like, yes.
It would be a
Baku-
lot faster.
Baku and Murata are just like, I don't know what's wrong with them.
I think Mordenkainen could, in theory, like cast fly on all y'all. But then Vasha wouldn't be able to
like
bury
that
their
in
head in the
class.
scales of Moran and pretend that they're not
Be
flying.
like, "Ah!"
That would be pretty sad. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll ask Mordenkainen formally if he can stay with my family in case of something going terribly wrong.
He will, of course, agree, and wish you the best of luck.
He's so polite.
He is. He's very polite. He's a good boy. There's a lot of really funny backstory about Mordenkainen. I don't want to get too much into it, but basically, like, in fiction, he's the reason D&D exists. Like, he's a plane hopper,
Nice.
and he and his friend, who you haven't met in the campaign, they went to Ed Greenwood's house, and they talk about magic and shit in his living room. And Ed Greenwood, that's how Ed Greenwood came up
Nice.
with D&D.
Okay.
I
Wow.
like it.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Fourth wall broken.
Do we have time for Escher to cast symbol on the door?
Oh, yeah. In fact, the symbol lasts indefinitely, so it's probably still
Okay.
there
Okay.
from the last time he cast it.
Good call. Look at you.
I
Look
know,
at
I'm
you,
all
Dungeon
smart.
Zing and Dragon Zing.
I know, you're so
Yeah.
smart. I don't know what's going on here. I feel baffled.
Oi!
Are we actually using spells now?
No, we're just thinking about using them ahead of time.
Speaking of which, we should look at spell lists before we leave too and update. And I'm mostly talking about me.
Yeah. I was like, what? Bucky
I don't
can
have that
update.
prepared nonsense.
And I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, because it's not really a spoiler. Like, either in this episode there's a TPK or you all level up.
Right, exactly.
One of the two.
Cool.
So
That's, yeah.
mhm,
That's fun news
one or the other.
that I
It's not
didn't.
really an option, though.
I mean,
not
yeah,
gonna
it
let
is.
you-
Option
Don't
implies
believe in
choice.
I mean, there's always another option. In this case, the other option is you die. So
It's like either you die or you don't. You know, pick one.
Shit.
start thinking about what you want your 9th level spell slot to be, Baku. Escher
Oh
gets
my
one
God,
too.
Yeah, seriously.
Assuming that we don't die, remember that.
This, yeah.
Okay, so here's a question. So I've got a locate creature spell, which
yeah.
it's
Is
one
he
of
a
my
creature?
5th level. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know that it works on
Mhm.
humans,
Okay, fair enough.
but I'll check.
It might.
I mean,
Humans
last
are
time
creatures.
Baku scried- Yeah, that's true. Last time
Are
Baku
they?
scried, he was like, hey, fuck off.
But I only get one 5th level spell. So
Okay, well, then be careful.
yeah, it's either that or it's the stuff that attacks things really hard. So
Yeah, locate creature is a 4th level divination. Describe or name a creature familiar to you. Can locate a specific creature or the nearest creature of a specific kind, such as a human or unicorn. So it does affect humans.
Mhm.
Okay.
What's the
Nice.
range on it?
it's It's 1,000 feet, so we
1,000.
wouldn't be able. I wouldn't be able to do it until I knew he was like around.
Yeah.
But if I know he's like running around, and I think I'm gonna stick it. Okay, no, I'm gonna stay with what I got. Okay,
Yeah, just hold.
Okay,
Just gonna bring my bag of holding, my rabbits, and the stupid cloak.
Oh, and somebody has to protect. I guess we'll leave my mother with Ander, and
Oh yes, Ander will definitely be staying home with
Yeah.
Mama
Yeah,
Mama
it's
Tremaine.
like, let's bring the baby god with us. No, let's not.
you like take him. You're just like, okay, buddy, you have to stay here.
He's like,
can't-
what? Grow sunflowers on the big bed? Okay.
Oh, shoot. It's also not on my equipment list, on my gear list, but I am also adding the music box that I had, which is my trinket, because it was from Kostya.
Oh,
And I would definitely not leave that anywhere.
exactly.
Okay.
Die with important things, just like Baku and their buddies.
Yup.
If I'm gonna die, I want the rabbits with me.
Okay. Alrighty.
Good, thanks.
Yeah, when the DM starts humming.
So, like, I can't tell if, like, if we all die, is it just a really unsatisfying arc that we just spent, like,
You
Yes.
will, well, I
A
mean,
long
she'll-
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
that's exactly what happens.
Tessa will have like this whole long epilogue. It's like our heroes died terribly, and everyone was sad, and the world
Well, this
ended.
is kind of what informs the next campaign, because whatever happens in the world, I think,
Oh,
is what
God.
ends up with start of the next one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, don't get
no.
me wrong. I am on team crit fail. Like, I want you guys to succeed, but I will absolutely kill you if you fuck it up. I am not a merciful god.
Gee, really?
why did we give her this power? Who decided it was a good idea to give her this
Yeah,
power?
seriously.
Because
I would
she's
like
a
to
writer
veto
and
it.
we like her stories.
Yep.
Says
I don't
who?
know. I'm rethinking it.
All
Okay,
right.
I'm like, I haven't read her shit
All
except
right.
for okay.
All right. As I was saying, you all have firmed up your equipment list and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have firmed up your equipment list, and you the whole family, the whole group gathers outside as Moran retransforms back into her dragon form, and you all climb on. You can see Mother Tremaine with Baby Ander. Baby Ander is reaching out to grab at you, Ember, as you climb on. Like you can't quite tell if he's like saying goodbye or trying to like smack a flower onto your head.
Oh, I like reach out. I guess he's like too far. I'm already climbing on the back, right?
Yeah, but he's still grab
Okay.
waving at you.
Gotcha. I wave back and I'm like, "We'll be back soon, my lord."
Escher's like, that is so weird. Can we please just call him Ander until he
I
at
guess,
least
yeah.
until he learns to talk?
Okay, that's fair. Back soon, Ander.
I stole a gigantic hug from Mama Tremaine just because.
She
yeah,
hugs
for
you
sure.
back, of course.
Oh yeah,
Of
we
course.
definitely I think we definitely said farewells. I gave her like a huge hug and I was like, "Please take care of Ander. Be safe. I'm gonna try not to die. You do the same."
Everyone hugs Mama Tremaine. I think we can all just
Yeah,
agree.
exactly. I was like, I think
Yes.
that's just a given.
And Escher hugs
Yes.
Mordenkainen because he doesn't give a fuck. And Mordenkainen is not good at hugs.
Like, I feel like Baku will like clap him on the back and be like, "Get some sleep, maybe,
Yeah, sleep
or
is good.
try."
And then Escher climbs on. Escher, who is apparently like one of the only people here who isn't afraid of heights, except for Baku, I guess.
Escher's like, "Yay, it's gonna be a fun time."
You and me up at the front, Baku.
Yeah, and Baku's like, I don't get those people. Looking back at Vasha and Ember that are like, ah.
Well, it's a lot easier when you have wings.
It's also a lot easier when, the tree or whatever you're on is rooted in the ground, not flying. Heights are okay.
Escher's like, hashtag can't
fly
relate.
properly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, are you saying my mom can't fly properly? Are you dissing her
No.
skill?
No.
And with that,
Saying, I need
to
my roots.
to stop you two from arguing about dumb stuff,
Ah!
she takes off with 3 mighty flaps of her enormous wings. And she tries to keep a little lower to the ground, but it's still like,
Yeah, no,
300,
that's fair.
400 feet in the air.
Vasha's ridiculous hair is blocking their vision now. Like, I can't see the curls.
Can we
It's
talk?
tied back.
It would be like convertible hair. Like, even if you tie it back, it's still gonna look unbelievable at the end.
Yeah,
It'll
this
be
is
great,
true.
yeah.
Okay, and she takes off, and it is quite a long flight. Like, dragons are fast, but Faerun is also quite large. And it takes you, like, I know you're terrified of flying, but it takes you probably, like, half a day to get there. And I'm
Oh,
wondering how
God.
Vasha and Ember are hanging in there.
Not great.
I think Ember's like airsick. So
There's lots of
Oh,
places
dear.
to barf.
Yeah, that was like, just lean over, don't get it on.
Somewhere 400 feet below, a goblin has his day ruined.
The Goblin's just like, what the fuck?
And so Ember, like, I think he throws up, and then he just sort of sits in the middle, like as far away from the edge as possible, just like looking straight ahead, and he's like, "Don't talk to me."
Escher like pats you on the back, like it's okay. You're gonna be okay.
Basha's probably just running through all of their like trance meditation calming stuff. Like, just it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Things are good.
Everything is fine. The world isn't ending.
Baku's gonna like braid your hair while you're in trance, like do 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 do.
The world is ending. This is the least of my worries.
So near as you can tell, the center of the gash that runs up the middle of Faerun is somewhere near the Storm Horns, which is a mountain range. It's not far from a settlement that you can recognize, but you've never been to, unless you want to say you've been there. I don't particularly care. It's your backstory. The city is called Arabel in Cormer. On a river not far from the Hulk Forests is a large aging temple. But what's interesting isn't the age of the temple, it's the state of it. It looks at first glance like it has been broken right down the middle. The massive fissure bisecting Faerun is at its thickest here, nearly 100 feet across, and the temple leans away from itself on either side as ribbons of black and white smoke-like energy snarl up and through it. And you don't notice until you land, but when you do land, you notice that the tremoring is very, very bad here. And I would like all of y'all to roll a perception check for me, please.
It's the first roll of the night.
Evening.
Escher's
I'm
got
so happy about this.
I always forget that Escher has a plus 10.
My
Jesus
God.
Christ.
God, it's high.
He's a and he rolled a nat 1. Okay, well there's that.
Yes, yes, I am perceptive as fuck.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I D&D it? There's my perception. Okay, I was like, where'd it go? Not too bad, but
Unfortunately,
Damn
that
it.
does not hit the DC I set.
oh boo. So
S-
Amber and Baku
Wait,
are like Baku and Amber are like
what's the terrain?
it is outside. It is near a river. It's grassy.
Near-
It's grass near a river. It's sort of.
Okay.
It's not forest. I know that's what you want.
yeah, it's like so. No, not yours.
So Moran lands behind you and she transforms back into her human form. She's kind of looking at you. It wasn't really clear if you wanted her to stay or not, but it sounds like you probably do. Do you want her to fight with you as well?
Baku's like, please stay and fight with us.
I mean, I'm not turning down an extra ally.
Yeah, I think if it's necessary. I mean, she's still probably
Yeah,
not in great
as-
shape.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
is extraordinarily tired. She hasn't had the chance to
Exactly.
sleep.
Right. So if necessary, Baku's also very
yeah.
concerned about
Last
that.
resort.
Yeah, I feel like she should stay out of it and try to like. I guess the other thing too is if something goes horribly wrong, she can also go back to Mordenkainen and tell him what's going on, and they can try to do something.
She can
Uh-huh.
she can case the joint from the outside and watch if
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the best plan. I don't really think she should fight with us
Okay.
unless she has to.
Okay, so she set you down about 50 feet away from the edge of this fracture that's just going through the temple and about 100 feet away from the temple itself. Which direction do you want to head?
Okay, so so we could go directly into the temple, or we could skirt the outside.
Yes, although you can only skirt one side of the temple before you get close to the fracture. Because the temple is broken in half by this fracture. I don't know if you got that.
yeah,
like,
that's
Oh,
right.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's split. Yeah, I was like, oh, sounds great.
so yeah,
Okay,
you can only skirt the outside on this one half of it.
Ember turns to you guys and he's like, "So normally I'm a huge fan of charging in, but I think the stakes are a little higher this time. So I think we should stealth our way into this."
Escher's like, I am so proud of you. This is character development.
Baku's just like looking at Basha like, I don't stealth, they do.
Yeah, I've got the pass without trace, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and cast that.
Okay, you all have a plus 10 to stealth.
Woohoo!
So-
I shouldn't do stealth things. I have disadvantage on deck stuff.
You and your clanking armor.
Yeah,
and limp. Don't forget.
and limp.
Oh yes,
So,
right.
yes,
And the lamp.
I am the least stealthy person you will ever meet, and should not be involved in any scouting trips.
I notice you still have not answered my question. Do you want to check out the fissure or the temple?
I think you should check out the temple, but I think Vasha should go.
Okay.
Baku thinks the fissure. Isn't that the reason we're here?
I know, but the question is Varane here setting up a trap?
That's why we should look at the fissure.
Why not approach it along the fissure? Approach the temple along the fissure.
Whatever works for you guys.
That's a good idea.
I guess. Sure, do it. I don't know. I'm not involved.
So Vasha,
Okay.
so Vasha,
I will be
Baku just
sitting.
ignoring him.
so Vasha, you were leading the way. It sounds like,
Yeah.
because Dex.
Yep.
All right. You approach the fissure, Vasha,
Yep.
and then you are stepping through a doorway into sunlight. And for a moment, you are disoriented. Hadn't it been close to nightfall a minute ago? But you forget your doubts the moment you see him. That was crazy, Kostya says. And he takes you by the wrist and he pulls you into a garden. You recognize the garden, actually. It's the one behind the spires of the morning in Neverwinter, spilling over with golden flowers. It was beautiful. Of course, Ember's wedding would be unbelievably over the top.
Kostya?
He smiles at you.
What's
He says,
what's going on?
you can relax. I'm not going to propose. We've talked about this. Besides, it would be a little overdone to propose at a wedding, right?
What's going on?
He kind of looks at you confused, and he looks back over your shoulder at you, and he kind of gestures. And when you turn around, you can see inside the spires of the morning, there is the remnants of the wedding, and of course, Ember is hamming it up in the middle. Everyone is congratulating the Lord Tremaine on his wedding, and Escher is like in the background, like, please, too many people. Baku's probably doing something with the rabbits. Moran's there too. She seems like she's sort of ingratiating herself in the Neverwinter community, really talking to people. I should mention that you should until you can roll insight a little bit later, but for now this feels very normal to you. Like this is like it was a little disorienting at first, but now you're like, oh right, yeah, I'm at the wedding, yeah.
So my ears had kind of like drooped just like initially, like what the hell's going on? But I think like they're starting to kind of perk up, and frankly, I just grab him and just kind of, like, oh my god, you're real.
He laughs. He's like, you can stop doing that now. It's been like several weeks. But he hugs you back.
How did we get you back?
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
As you ask that, you start to remember. It was actually a couple weeks ago. You successfully saved the world, you went into the temple, you killed Varain, you stopped the end of the world, and then Escher, who had become quite a powerful cleric, cast True Resurrection and brought him back to life.
Okay. I don't know, I just continue to cling. I can't quite process what's going on, but I'm not gonna question it right now. I'm just, since my brain is apparently accepting this as normal and what happened for now.
As Vasha approaches, they disappear.
Exactly, and we're just looking at each other like, what the fuck?
That's what we were like, what are we doing in this?
Is this some elf shit?
Yeah, it's the elf thing.
They're just gone?
Yep, they're just gone.
I think I turned to Baku and
Escher's like, oh god,
Escher,
where'd they go?
What?
Where'd they go?
Is this a stealth thing? Is
Vasha?
it still super stealthy?
Yeah, Baku is also gonna be like, Vasha, can you hear us? Hello? Okay, we need a new plan.
Crack. Well,
we
we
can't
have to.
stealth without a ranger.
What if something bad happened to Vasha?
We can't see them. We can't find them. I'm not a ranger.
I feel like this is gonna end so badly. But like, I also can't leave my friend in there. I think so. Ember approaches the fissure as well.
Ember.
Yep.
The moment you approach, you look down and you have this understanding. Your garden is blooming. You can see it, actually, from over the edge of the balcony that you're standing on. This is the Tremaine estate, you realize. It's rebuilt. It's new. And as you look down at your hands resting on the stone balustrade of the veranda, you notice that the skin over your knuckles is drier, it's a little more wrinkled, and before you can be alarmed by that, you feel a head rest on your shoulder. When you look over, you see Escher. He's older too, but he has aged like good wine. Pale blonde hair has turned a stately silver, crow's feet and laugh lines around his face, echoes of a very long, good life. He has twined his arm in yours and leaned his head on your shoulder, and he says, "How's the deer situation? Under control still?" And you have this sort of understanding, like, yeah, the deer situation's under control. You had Mother Tremaine put up a couple warding spells to keep the deer from eating all your plants.
Okay, so do I feel like this is real, or
Yeah, you feel like this is real.
do I remember like that I just stepped in from this thing?
You remember that you went to the Broken Temple and you fought and defeated Tremaine and you avoided the end of the world, but that was years ago now. Your memory is very indistinct. You've been happily married now for over 50 years.
Oh god. Okay. I guess I turned to Escher and I'm like, yeah, I got mom to set up, or do we call her grandma now? I can never remember.
She laughs. She says, "Yeah, I think technically she's a grandma now.
But no, she set up some wards, and we should be able to. Those tomatoes should be coming in great."
Says, "Oh, that's so great." And he kind of yawns, and he's like, "God, you're old when you want to go to bed at 5:00 in the evening."
Weren't we doing that when we were younger too?
Yeah, but that was because you were busy saving the world and shit. Now it's just because we're old.
Well, if you want to accompany me upstairs, I suppose we could call it a night.
Well, you want to break your hip? And let's Baku. Ember
Yeah,
disappears
Baku.
too.
Yeah, Amber disappeared too, so Baku is gonna be like, okay, Escher is still there, right?
Yeah, and Escher is freaking out because now 2 of his friends are gone, and one of those friends is also his fiance, and oh god, everything is terrible!
Baku's gonna be like, okay, we need to both go, or I don't want to be left alone.
Escher's like, he's like crying, he's like, what's gonna happen? Where is everyone?
I'm just gonna grab him and be like, let's go.
Alright, you grab Escher's hand and you pull him into it, and Baku, I would like you to jump into Quick Aside with me.
Okay. And here I am.
Baku. My sweet
Yeah.
Baku.
Just like, what the fuck? First the elf is gone, and then the paladin is gone. Oh shit.
You step toward the fissure, and suddenly, you hear a voice, and you recognize it at once as your mother's. She says, a little more emphasis on the wrist. And for a minute, you're kind of disoriented. Your mother, she was circling up over his head, wasn't she? What's she doing here? But you're standing together at the window of a room that can only be your office at the Tremaine Estate, although it has been rebuilt. All the Tremaine Estate has been rebuilt because, yes, you remember that now. It was destroyed by the earthquake, and then after you saved the world, you all rebuilt it, and because of your renewed stature, your new office was built larger and a little statelier. And your mother is standing next to you, and she's sort of guiding your hand movements, and you realize she's trying to teach you a spell. And she says, this is your hoard now. This should come naturally. Don't overthink it. And you realize she's trying to teach you the spell Control Weather.
Okay. Interesting.
So do you want to try casting it again?
I guess, sure, why not? Try following her instructions.
You follow her instructions a little more closely, you flick your wrist in a more accurate way, and sure enough, the weather changes overhead. So I'm curious, it had been a sort of like a partly cloudy day. How does Baku want to change the weather over their hoard?
They're used to like desert-y stuff, so
Clear up the clouds, make it super warm.
yeah, let's do that.
All right, and it works this time. You clear up the clouds, the sun comes through all the brighter, it gets a couple degrees warmer, and you can see your mother just beaming with pride with like a hand over her chest like, oh, my child's all grown up. And she says, and when I first realized that your hoard was going to be your rabbits, I was a little taken aback, but you know what? I've gotten used to it now. And she kind of bustles over to the corner of your office, which is completely dedicated to the rabbits. You've got a big, like, really like an overly well-designed hutch for them. It's like 3 stories, and it goes from the floor to the ceiling.
Castles,
yeah, the rabbit castle. And she kind of scratches behind Mopsy's ear.
And Mopsy is like, yes, please, more attention.
Yes, this is precisely why you are here.
Exactly. That's what she thinks. Okay. where are my friends? Like, where is everybody else?
She looks at you. She's like, "What are you talking about, sweetheart?"
You know, Ember and Escher and Vasha. Just wondering if
She says, "I
what
think
they're
they're
doing
down.
today."
I think they're downstairs."
Oh, okay. Maybe we should go downstairs and say hello or see what they're doing, what they're up to.
She says, "Didn't you just see them at breakfast? What's the sudden urgency?"
I just want to show them this cool thing that I just learned. And to make sure that they're okay with it. If it's too hot for them, then maybe I can change it.
She says, "I don't think Ember will ever have a problem with more sunlight. You know, his thing is."
That is true. What about his garden, though? I mean, he's gonna yell at me if his.
I should mention, like, it sounds like you're being naturally suspicious, but for the moment, you're not naturally suspicious. Like, yeah, this is where you are now. This is where you have been. This is your.
Yeah, this is where. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I talked to them at breakfast. Then I'm like, okay, that's fine. I guess I don't need to see them.
And she says, "Yes. Why don't you take me through some of the other spells you're willing to learn?" She kind of goes to your desk with you, and she pours over the books with you. Vasha,
Hi.
roll insight for me.
Sweet.
Yep, that's not good enough.
Nope.
So far as you can tell, this is what really happened, and perhaps it is a little bit that you want to believe this so badly. You know, like. You are asked.
Yep.
You are asked to believe that Kostya is back and the world is safe, and it's just, yep, of course. Why would you want to believe anything else? So Kostya, who is still being clung by you, brings you back toward the garden, toward the back of the garden, and he sits down on a bench with you, and you can see. Actually, it's David Tremaine on the outskirts with like a glass of wine kind of like glaring at the two of you, but in that sort of like ineffectual, I can't do anything about this way. But he sees you and he's kind of like, and he kind of like,
I glare back.
He turns dramatically and leaves, and Kostya's like, "I cannot believe you found it within yourself to forgive him."
There's days I can't believe it either.
He kind of leans back in the bench and he looks up at the sky and he says, "I also, like, there's a lot of things that I'm having trouble believing now that I'm back. Like the fact that Lathander's a baby now, and also that I'm his uncle, I guess? That seems a little weird. Like, don't get me wrong, I was never, I'm like the odd duck, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a paladin, I'm not a cleric, but I was brought up to worship Lathander, and it's a little weird that he's like a toddler living in my house."
Trust me, it was weirder when your brother brought him home.
God, that must have been his story. And there's a lot that I still have to catch up on. It's like, why don't you regale me with all the stories? We've got a little bit of time. The wedding isn't over for, I think, another 3 hours.
Sorry, but that's like such an Ember
That
thing
is
to
such
do.
an Ember the wedding, like the ceremony is over, but it's still like there's still 3 hours to go. As you start to regale him with all these stories, I would like you to roll insight again with advantage as you are recalling all the details.
Okay.
21, which is still good enough.
Yes.
And as you are regaling Kostya with all these stories, you start to realize that like the memory, there's like a gap in your memory. Like you remember going to the temple, but you don't remember actually fighting in it, except for this vague understanding that everything was okay and that in the end it was fine and you saved the world, but you don't remember the hard details of it. And you don't even know how you got here, for that matter. You don't remember helping with wedding planning, which you are sure Ember would have made you do. You don't remember, the guest list. You don't remember even coming to the spire this morning. So Escher had just made a joke about breaking your hip.
Yeah, because I'm old.
Because you're old. You're both old. It's fine. I would like you to roll insight for me.
Okay.
Actually, that's not too bad at all.
Could be worse.
So Escher makes a joke about you breaking your hip. And for a minute you're kind of disoriented. You have this understanding, like, yeah, like we make old jokes at each other all the time. We've been making old jokes at each other for the past, 10 years now. But then you're like, I haven't even known Escher for 10 years, have I? And the more you think about it, the more your mind goes back and you start to realize, I never even got married to him, and the Tremaine estate is still in ruins. And you're starting to connect in your head all these disparate pieces that you really hadn't thought of before. And you're realizing, I remember going to the temple, but I don't remember saving the world. And you don't remember getting married, and you are absolutely sure you would never forget your wedding day because you planned that out. You planned out so much of it, and you knew you would never forget it. And slowly you feel yourself detaching from this time stream. Your mother kind of leans over your desk and starts flipping through her spellbook. Unlike you, she's technically classed as a wizard, so she all of her spells she understands as written down in one large book, and she lets you borrow it all the time. And I would like you to roll insight for me.
Oh no, I was hoping not though. Okay.
So as you are going over these spells, you can hear her say, "This one I taught you yesterday, of course. You have been practicing it," and you realize that you don't remember learning that spell. You've never even tried to cast that spell. It's not within your wheelhouse. And as she's flipping through the pages saying the ones that you have learned already, you realize that you don't think you've learned any of these spells, and also you don't remember when the Tremaine estate was rebuilt either. You have vague memories of you went to the temple and you saved everything, but you don't remember how you did it, and you don't remember how you got here. You don't even... surely you would remember, if nothing else, the wedding, right? Because Ember would have done absolutely everything to make it as unforgettable as possible.
Yeah, seriously.
But you don't remember any details of it at all. And as you're struggling to remember exactly what happened, you suddenly feel yourself detached from this timeline. Vasha, you are the first one spit back out. You kind of land a little bit awkwardly, probably like on your knees or something. How are you feeling?
It
felt-
what the fuck?
It felt very real. It felt as real as this feels now.
What the fuck?
Ember, you are the next one to get spat out.
Ah!
I barely managed to scramble out of the way.
Before 200 pounds of paladin land.
Some friends would try to catch the friend, but no, Vasha, not Vasha.
I don't have that strength.
You weigh too much, Ember.
I do. I'm a big boy.
Ember,
Sorry, buddy.
you land probably on your side a little awkwardly.
Yeah, that's the limping and everything. I think I stare up at Vasha and I go, were you old?
No.
Okay, so it was just me.
Baku!
Baku is like, ah!
Baku comes exploding out of the fissure, screaming. It sounds like, or they can't scream, so it's just.
I think I try to catch Baku because I'm a good friend.
I can help with that. I just can't do it on my own.
Make a strength check, Ember. It is.
Baku's like, no,
Baku is a large dragon.
No. I know. Baku's like, no.
Just a straight strength.
Just a straight
Oh,
strength
God.
check. Yeah.
Yeah. for
Yo,
those of you that have
okay,
read
well, I rolled a 2, so no.
Oh.
Well, you have a +6 mod.
Yes,
So
Baku
that's
crushes you
8.
and you die instantly.
No, you have a +2 mod, so you congratulations, you have caught Baku with your body.
Baku's just like, oh, sorry.
Make a grunting noise.
Escher comes.
Sorry, buddy. That's why I tried not to catch you.
Right.
Escher comes stumbling out last, like, what the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Ember turns to Escher and he grabs him, puts his bear hug, and he goes, "It's very important. Were you old?"
No, what are you talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about. I was at your wedding.
I wasn't old either.
You were at the wedding?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. What happened? Why don't we go through one by one? In mine, I was old. It was very upsetting. I did have a very good garden, and Escher and I were married.
Don't humans get old? I thought that was something that you did.
Yeah, I think that's a thing.
I think he means upsetting in the vanity way.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
'cause you
no,
were
I got it. I got
I
it.
didn't see.
Not B-list celebrity anymore.
I assumed that I aged very well, but at the same time, I didn't have a mirror. So I turned to Escher, though, and I'm like, "You looked really good, though, babe."
It's that doesn't particularly concern me, but okay. It's I guess it's good to know. What are is it the future that you saw? Are you sure it was the future?
I don't know. I was just older.
It seemed like the future.
It
was-
seemed like a future. It felt like a future. It felt like I remembered things happening that haven't happened yet.
Right?
but then
Yes.
not quite. It was like they were almost there, but not entirely real.
Fully.
What happened in you guys'?
Baku looks at Vasha like, your turn.
I was at your wedding and, well, the reception afterwards, which was like fucking forever. I'm sorry, I love you, but like, don't do that to me.
Look, the reception is a very important part of any wedding.
Neither of your brothers agreed.
What?
What?
Costu was there.
How?
Escher had brought him back. We somehow won this fight. I don't know how. Details were really, really fuzzy.
So it was in the future as well.
Yeah.
Sure, it seems
Okay.
a little doubtful, but he just kind of like.
I know.
So Baku was yours. Did you have a vision of the future?
It seemed like it, yes. Like, my mom was trying to teach me stuff, and she's like, remember this spell? I'm like, no, I don't remember that spell. What are you talking about?
What was the spell?
I don't know. She had a list. She's like a wizard, so, she's got a list. I don't have a list. I just do spells. I'm a sorcerer.
Oh, okay.
Vasha says, "Oh, okay," and like that way that it really conveys that they have no idea what you're talking
Right,
about.
exactly. Like, oh, okay. She's got
What's
this
some
giant book,
magic?
she's going through this checklist, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember doing that.
Nodding sagely. Yes, yes, exactly.
It's like, you know how wizards, and Vasha's just like, yeah, oh yeah, sure, I know.
I definitely
Yeah, I know
understand.
how that works.
I definitely understand how to wizard.
Escher?
Baku was like, at least my office looked really cool. Rabbits.
So
They
was
had
it
their own place?
was it after? Did you get the sense it was after everything had happened as well?
Yes, that was why I couldn't remember the wedding, and I was like, wait, if I can't remember the wedding, I should remember that.
Ember finally turns to Escher. Did you have the same vision of the future?
Escher looks kind of awkward. He
Uh-oh.
opens his mouth to speak, and before he could say anything, I would like all of you to roll initiative.
Damn it! Damn it!
None of you hit
knew
the
it.
DC for perception.
I knew it. None of us did. Oh, we thought that somebody did.
Initiative order has been set. First up in the order is Escher, but here is what happens first because they got the surprise run on you, which is really amazing considering what bursts out of the ground underneath your feet is an enormous, must be 500-foot long purple worm. Let me bust out that picture for you.
Oh,
What?
It was very well disguised because it causes really distinct rumbling in the ground. Unfortunately, the whole ground was already rumbling.
yeah.
So you had to roll a really high perception check, and none of you did it.
I didn't sign up for Dune. If we could just like
Too
roll
late.
this
Too
back,
late.
that'd be great.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, just
It is gonna go for the tastiest juice box, and I'm gonna actually roll a d4 because Ember and Baku are both quite large. I'm gonna roll
That's
one d4.
Did she call me a tasty juice box?
Yep,
Yep.
Ember is a
Yep,
tasty
and we
juice
both-
box.
I
Yep.
think I feel like assaulted right now.
Well, you know what?
I
You're gonna
mean-
be really assaulted because the purple worm is gonna try to bite
It's
you.
hungry. I
God damn
mean,
it.
Baku's like, why am I so big? Why do I look delicious to things?
That's a hit.
Yep.
Oh no!
All right, Ember, you take 22 piercing damage, and it swallows you.
Oh great.
Jesus!
Actually, no, I'm sorry. You have to make a dex save, but you have disadvantage on dex saves
Because it just.
because of your leg.
Oh y'all, guys, this isn't gonna end bad well for anyone.
I just wrote.
I think
wrote
you-
surprise a worm in my.
Okay, well, either one of those sucks, so it's all good.
All right, yep, it swallows you.
Ooh.
It is very slimy, and
Oh,
you take an additional 21 acid damage being inside of it.
Great.
For a,
Guys,
total,
this is ending very badly.
for a total of 43 damage. Next up in the order is Escher, who goes, "Oh my god!" And he is going to do a big nasty hit, the biggest and nastiest hit.
Yeah.
He's going to cast Spectral Weapon probably at its highest level. Okay, so he's going to cast it at a level 8 spell. And it does 7d8 damage. He summons, it probably looks like Light's Wrath. Cuz he's seen it and he knows how badass it is. It does 7d8 plus his spell attack bonus, which is 11. A giant spectral axe forms and it whiffs hilariously, and he's like, "Hang I'm gonna get you out of there somehow.
I mean, you're a little distracted, so.
Wait, real quick, can I hear him, or am I just like...
You cannot hear him. No, you cannot hear
We're
anything.
inside a worm. Shut up.
You cannot hear anything except what digestion sounds like.
Okay,
Next
good.
up in the order is Baku.
Great.
Please
They're
get me
kind
out
of just like freaking out, like, oh god, it just ate Ember. Okay. What do? Cone of Cold. Let's do Cone of Cold because it's level 5. It's higher.
All right, that's a
Yeah.
con save, correct?
Yes.
Bad news, he has a +6 to con.
Shit.
Should have thought of that before. A giant worm, yeah, probably has a pretty good
Yeah.
con save.
Okay. Well, whatever. So.
21, I assume, beats it?
Yeah. What is my DC? Yeah.
It should be still pretty high, I think 19, but
Yeah, it's 19. Yes, but it's still it beats it. So boo. So what happens on a failed?
That's half damage, I believe.
Half as much. Yeah. So it's a 8d8. Cold damage on a failed save, or half as much. So I just
48.
48. Sorry, half. You're right.
Yeah.
Roll.
So that's 29.
Okay.
Total of 29 hit points. Good smacking. Next up in the order is Vasha. You are staring down at a gargantuan-sized purple worm that has just swallowed your paladin.
Lightning arrow.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Roll to hit. You are trying to beat a 18.
Good news.
Yeah, 31 is... Yes, 31 is larger than 18. That's true. Alright, roll damage.
And I'm doing this as a 4th level spell slot. So it'll do additional damage. So that is going to be 5d8 plus I'm using one of my magical arrows, so an additional 2d8.
Oh yeah, that's quite a lot of damage.
Yup.
Yep. Alright, so it's 42.
Yep. And I'm going to hit it again.
Yep.
Wait,
That's
that's plus 13. Yep.
18 is still a hit, so yeah.
Yep. Okay.
God, you have to roll less than a 5 to not hit this thing. Your mods are stupid. You're all stupid.
Yep. Yep.
You're all OP and bad.
You just ate me!
Right.
Whining. So much whining. Where you ate my paladin, God.
And I'm going to go ahead and burn another spell slot to do the or no, I can't do that because that's a bonus round, so it's just going to be my normal
26 damage?
Yep.
26 damage. Alrighty. Big nasty hit from a not quite large, not really nasty either elf.
Cute teen.
Adorable
a
teenage
short
elf. Next up in the order is the purple worm.
No gods.
Good.
It is going to try to eat the person that just gave it a real bad boo-boo. Basha,
Yup.
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Who?
Me.
Basha.
Oh, yeah, because it's like the pokey things.
26 hits your DC, so yes, definitely a dexterity saving
Oh
throw.
no.
21, what is it? Yep, barely.
Oh god.
So you manage to dive out of the way before it swallows you, but you are still going to take 22 points of piercing damage from the bite.
All right, and then good news on that. I do have a feat. I'm gonna copy paste. It's called multi-attack defense.
Creature hits you with an attack, you gain +4 bonus to AC against subsequent attacks. Okay. So
And it's an automatic thing. So
okay.
Right, all subsequent. Okay.
It is also that is good because it's also going to attack you with its tail stinger.
Right.
sweet.
Again.
How much damage did I take the first time around?
22.
Okay.
23. So your AC +4 is what?
It is. Let me check.
There's
My
no way it's that
AC
high.
is 21 plus 4 would be 25.
Your AC is 21?
How is your
Yep.
AC 21?
Because I
Whoa.
have a 20 in my or 22 in my dex.
Oh.
Yeah, like I said, y'all are OP.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so you managed to avoid taking damage from the tail, and that is the purple worm's turn. Ember, it's your turn. You are inside of a worm. It is not great. You would leave a very unfavorable review on Yelp about these accommodations.
Being inside a worm, 0 to 10. Do not recommend.
2 out of 5 stars at least.
It's warm.
It's
Oh
warm.
God.
Okay, so here's the question. If I can I try to reach like the sun sword and try to at least activate it?
Yes, you can. While you are inside the worm, you are blinded and restrained, but you have total cover against effects from outside of the worm.
Well, that's good at least.
That is good.
Um,
I did not make you go crunchy and crispy with my lightning.
so you
This is
you
good.
can theoretically like grab the sun sword by the hilt and activate it.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do that.
Okay, so you can activate.
Can I point it out so it's like gonna hit it?
Yes. Go ahead and just roll regular damage. You cannot cast a spell because you do not have control of
Okay.
your hands, but you can roll regular
Yeah.
weapon damage against it.
Okay. Which is gonna be not much, but that's okay.
You don't have your big fancy hammer anymore.
I know, this is so sad.
Strong paladin boy. A 13 damage. All right. It's not.
Can I do
nothing.
it? Can I get 2 attacks? Because I still technically I get 2 attacks.
I guess technically.
Okay, sweet. So I'm gonna do it again.
So you just kind of like wriggle it to the side.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad from inside.
I was saying because I don't have to roll to hit, right? Because I'm already inside.
Yeah,
it.
you are inside it. Like there is no way it cannot not hit it.
It's gonna hit something.
Minus 11. All right. It is at this point that Moran is going to swoop down and join the initiative order.
Okay.
Hi, thank you.
She is going to try to chomp on that purple worm just real good. Yep, that does it. And that is a total of 24 points of piercing damage.
Yes, Ron, get it. Get me out of this horrible thing.
And she is also going to do that again because she has multi-attack.
Baku's like, yay, mom, yay.
I would like to point out this is the worst situation I've ever been in.
Okay, worse than being old?
Oh, good point. Not as bad.
Oh no.
Alrighty, that was Moran's turn. She is now in like a full grapple with this enormous purple worm, and like she is comparable in size to this enormous purple worm, and it is sort of like, and it's like, what's that movie that everyone liked with the giant mechs? Not Transformers, the good one.
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, that's the one. It is
Pacific Rim, yeah.
it is fantasy Pacific Rim.
Yes.
basically.
Yes, this is the best thing.
Yes.
Next
It
up
would
in
be
the
better-
order is Escher.
Yay.
Escher's gonna be like, that's cool, but also please let go of my fiance.
Yeah, like don't eat him. Like
It's
thanks,
too late.
but also...
Too late.
That
That
hits.
ship has sailed. I am eaten.
Shut up.
He gets 7d8 plus 11 damage. Oh,
Woo!
big nasty hit.
Wow.
My fiance is so good.
But that's just the
any of them.
spiritual weapon. The spiritual weapon attacks on its own. He gets a regular attack,
Hey.
and he is gonna flame strike that sumbitch.
Ooh.
It has to make a dexterity saving
concerned.
throw, and its dexterity mod is -2.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's good to know.
Rolled a negative one.
Definitely fails.
Oh my god, that's the best thing I ever saw.
Wow,
Suck it,
runs right
bitch!
into your attack.
So that is a total of 8d6 radiant damage.
Oh damn.
What?
8d6 plus 11 radiant damage.
Okay, I am concerned that we're burning
Oh my
so many
God.
spells here.
Oh my god, yeah,
know.
right.
Oh, woof.
Holy
Okay.
crap.
So
Holy crap.
he sets it on fire, and this worm screams and sort of collapses onto one side and sends plumes of dust rising up into the air. And he immediately goes scrambling toward the mouth like, Ember! Ember!
Can I hear him?
Yes, you can, barely.
I like shout. I'm like, get me out of here!
He's like, hey, Pasha, give me your rope!
yeah. Give him the rope.
He takes the rope and he he doesn't give a fuck. He's not that vain. He's gonna just climb wholesale into the mouth of this
Right.
God.
Just gonna
worm, and he's
dive
like,
in there.
Ember, you take the end of the rope.
Do I see the end of the rope?
Just barely. You can see him. He's
Okay.
covered in slime. It's not sexual.
I
Gross.
guess I like squeegee my way. I'm like doing like the army crawl thing. Oh, this is so gross.
God.
Okay.
You are unfortunately
mental
going to take
picture.
another 21 points of acid damage, and so is Escher,
Fine,
actually.
okay.
Because you are both starting your turn. Well, you're not technically. You're not an initiative, but still. It's 21 points of acid damage.
Okay,
All right,
so I grab the rope.
and he
We haul you guys out.
we haul you both.
Yeah, we're gonna
Everyone
out.
hauls you out. You come sprawling out onto the dirt, covered in acidic slime, and now that you landed face down in the dirt, also covered in dirt.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
I start coughing
Valid.
pathetically, and I'm like, look up, and I'm like, did you kill it?
Escher looks back, like looks over your shoulder, Ember, where the purple worm is lying dead. Like, I mean, yeah.
It's smoldering.
it. Yeah.
I like stagger to my feet, and then I give Escher an enormous high five.
Oh God, covered in slime.
And
Yes,
she's like,
that
no,
was-
please don't touch. Oh god, now it's all over me.
Thank you so much for saving me.
Are you okay? Like physically? Like, are you okay? Do you need any healing?
I mean, like half my health is gone, but
Okay,
I mean,
hang on. I'm gonna heal you. He
Do you want to
is.
heal him or just use a potion or two? Or we
Potions do
no.
2d4 healing.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
know.
That's right.
It ate so much of me.
It was like half damage. Oh no.
Escher is going to use his 6th level spell slot and cast heal on you. You get plus 70 hit points up to your max.
Oh god. Okay, wait. We should just be careful with all these spells. There's other things we have to fight here.
Escher's like, this is the fight. This is the fight. Like, we're at the end of the world. We're just going to have to go in.
Right.
Okay, but also, just be careful. Is
He's-
everybody else okay? I look around. I'm like, did everyone
Yeah,
else make
yeah.
it out?
He's
You were
still
the one that
got.
got swallowed.
Where did
Yeah,
that thing come from? How did we not notice a giant worm?
Escher's
I
like,
mean,
well, I mean, if we're not.
Earthquakes.
Yeah, if we're not going to notice something that causes enormous rumbling, it's probably while there's enormous rumbling everywhere. Like that seems
Right.
that
The
checks out.
I mean, that checks out for me, but you guys are usually so much better about all of this.
We're distracted.
Earthquakes and rattled. What
Right.
more do I need to tell you?
Fine, fair enough. Okay, we need to get back to the problem at hand, which is there's some sort of weird timeline thing. Moran, it's so good to see you as a dragon. Do you know anything about time?
Escher's
Marco
like,
looks at Ember like, what the fuck kind of question is that?
Ron kind of gives you a quizzical look, like, in general, or
Yeah, sure. No, we all stepped into that fissure and we had visions of the future, but they felt real. And
she says, I would be careful of assuming anything is a vision of the future. True divination is very, it's dicey and it's inexact. She kind of,
That's a good point.
she like lifts one hand like she wants to go walk over toward it.
No,
I
I like nudge Baku. I'm like, Baku.
Marco's like, no, Mom, I think that's fine. It's fine. You don't need to do that.
She says, okay. She kind of observes it from a distance and she says, well, I mean, just judging by what I can see and what we know to be true, if I had to make an educated guess, I would say that this fracture is an artifact of reality itself starting to break down. And, maybe
That's bad.
because
That's so bad.
maybe because reality is breaking down, time is also breaking down.
Okay, great. So we need to fix
Good.
this now. Okay, so we haven't checked out the temple.
No, we have not.
No, you have not. You haven't even gone inside yet. You got really preoccupied by a giant purple worm.
Just been very distracted, sitting around talking. I'm like covered in like.
Yeah, Escher's like trying,
Walker's
like
like,
half-heartedly trying to like clean your armor off. It's like, oh, it's so sticky.
Gross.
yeah.
don't even. Like, there's nothing we can do. Is there like a stream around I could go douse myself in?
There's prestidigitation, which Escher does
Oh.
not have prepared, actually.
Shoot. Does somebody else have cantrips?
Nope, not those ones. Actually, no, I don't have any cantrips.
Escher could
I can
prepare
make you glow really
prestidigitation.
bright.
No, that's fine.
Escher could prepare it, but it would take like 10 minutes for him to
Yeah.
prepare.
No, there's no reason to waste it. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's just that's how we're gonna say that we fought this battle when we tell the story to our
It's just
children.
like, but
Escher.
it's so sticky.
I know, but that's fine. It's just this will be another great story. We'll sit around the campfire and
I
we'll
don't
tell
think you
children about
understand how sticky it is.
I am covered in it. What do you mean you think I don't understand?
Maybe there's something in the temple. We could check. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
We need to
There
go.
is actually, now that I think about it, I did put this near a river. So there
Oh, that's
is.
true. You did. Yeah.
It's like 500 feet away, but if Ember's desperate enough, he could like run screaming down the hill toward the river, like ah.
Yeah, like, just dunk himself. In the
Yeah, I mean, I'm covered in acid, so yeah, we're gonna go with that plan.
That's true. It could eat away at your armor and, eventually get to your skin. That'd be bad.
I think so. He's been trying to be chill about it, but he like turns around, he sees like a river, and he's like, "Oh, thank God!" And he like takes out
And just starts sprinting.
Yes, it's like, no, listen, it's fine. This is how we will tell the. Oh my God, a river!
Bucky is just like, okay.
I come back soaking wet.
You're soaking wet, but you're not covered in acid spit anymore. So
I'm
like,
not covered in acid
on
spit, so it's
balance.
really a win. Yeah, I think it wins in the end.
It does.
So as I squelch towards all of you,
it's just like,
No.
okay. I mean,
so, okay, if there was something in the temple, presumably it would have been awoken by the loud noises of screaming and eating people, right?
There could be artifacts that could help us. I'm just saying.
she said,
Yeah.
Moran says, I meant to tell you before we got caught up with the giant purple worm.
Giant worm.
While I was casing the building, I could look down, and you guys might want to brace yourself going inside.
Oh dear.
What? You can tell us.
What does that mean?
There are a
What kind of
lot
bracing?
of bodies.
Oh.
Oh God,
Mm,
we should go. We should see if we can help.
He says, I think it's a little past helping them.
Yeah, that was like they're probably dead.
Well, okay then. We still should go. We need to find out what happened.
Can
they-
I
are they-
cast scrying? Like, can I see the past? Can I see the future? Like, how does this work?
Scrying, well, I mean, you have the description of the spell scry.
Yeah, that's right. It says you can see.
Kira, the Secret Star, has some ability to see the past and the future, but it seems like he's only sharing it with you sporadically.
Yeah.
You could cast scrying to look inside the temple.
There we go. That's a good.
mhm.
Yes,
So
do
let's-
that.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay, you cast scrying as an action, and you place your sensor. What do you want to place it just inside the door that you can see, the one that you were close to entering?
Yeah, I think so.
You cast scrying on the other side of the door, and as Baron mentioned, like, yeah, there are a lot of bodies. Most of them have been decapitated.
Oh.
It's sort of ritualistic in the way that they are positioned. They're sort of lined up along the fissure that's running through the temple, as if the lack of reality is what severed their head from their body. They're all positioned so their shoulders are right at the lip of the fissure, and then their heads are gone. And it's a long row of that going down the center of the temple, and then there are piles of more bodies in various corners around the area.
Fun.
Baku like makes a really grossed out face. Like,
And Baku,
boy.
by the way, this is really not at all dissimilar to what you saw in that's when you tried to scry on Varain.
On Varain, yeah. Oh,
You saw
boy.
a very, very similar gory scene.
Yep, that's true.
The bodies
so-
are
yeah.
human and elven, dwarf, orc, every race imaginable. There's no discrimination, and now that you're looking at it a little closer, probably reluctantly, I imagine, you are noticing that it's not just ritualistic. You think it might actually be some kind of ritual. You think Varain or the cult may have been literally sacrificing these people to Nagath by way of throwing them into nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh.
Yep. So that's always good fun.
Great.
Yeah, Baku's going to like relay this to the others. Like it was just like I saw.
So it's like a sacrifice?
Seems like it. That's what it looks like.
Moran looks a little worried and she says, sacrifices are never made for no reason, she says. I don't know why they've chosen to sacrifice so many people to Nagath, but you should brace yourself. There will probably be a reason.
I was say there's usually
Yeah.
a trade-off or something. I mean, something's going on there.
Yeah.
Baku's like, okay, well, if there's gonna be a fight, we should be prepared, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fair.
fair. We have to go in there. You didn't see any signs of Varain or no like portal that. I mean, I guess he's invisible too. So that's
You
not-
didn't see any signs of anyone alive, Baku, but you did
Yeah,
see
so-
several paths leading, you think, down, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Baku's like, nope, no Varain, but nothing alive anyway.
Okay.
We
Well, we
should
have
still
to
check it out.
we have to go in. I mean, we have to see if
Yeah.
if he is still sacrificing, and then we
investigate.
can stop it. Maybe he's doing this to other people.
And Escher's like, also, he's trying to end the world. I feel like we shouldn't put that to the wayside.
Yeah.
Like, that's also really important.
Yeah. Either way, we can't just walk away.
Yeah.
You're all
But-
you're all sitting there agreeing, yes, we have to go inside. Hmm.
But we don't.
We
you know,
sure
this
do
is
have to
like-
go inside, yeah. Definitely.
This is that thing where you know you have to do it, but you really don't want to. Okay. Well,
yeah,
we
I
should,
guess I stand up and
we should do it
Yeah.
stealthily, though. We need to be careful. So, I think we send
so I'm
somebody.
getting voluntold again.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I can't do it. If I could do it, I would.
Escher's
But,
like, if I could swap back into a rogue, I'd do it for you, but
But like, you're literally the only
Yep.
one, Vashta.
Yep, it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, it's like the DM didn't level me up as a rogue, so I'm still like,
Yeah.
Okay, fourth wall.
Yeah. All
Plus,
right.
we really need our healer. Come on.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. All right.
So we'll follow, but I think that you need to be the one doing the.
does pass without
That's
trace, does that go away after you enter combat or something? Or would you have to cast it again, or?
I'd have to cast it again. It's a concentration spell.
Oh, okay, so you had to let go to fire lightning arrow in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have to cast it again if you wanted to make use of it.
Yeah. So, guys, do you think I should do that? That, as I remind you, that gives me a 21 on stealth checks. Just
But it also
automatically, no
takes
matter what I
another
roll.
It also takes
But it
another
takes
spell
another
slot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an
Um,
11 normal.
I
Let's-
feel like
let's-
there's no point. Baku's gonna be like, we already made a lot of noise. I feel like there's no
did.
point
We
in being
already did make a lot of
stealthy.
noise. I mean, I think we should still be careful, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
be
think
careful,
there's-
but no need to be stealthy.
Okay, I
Okay.
agree.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
I'll
let's go in.
Still go first, I guess, because I'm the silent-y, sneakiest.
Yes.
You walk up to the door, Vasha. You pull
Yep.
it open.
We're behind you.
The smell hits you before absolutely anything else.
God.
It is
I
so
gag.
foul that I would actually like you to roll a con save really quick.
Oh God.
Oh, good. I'm going to argue I haven't smelled this level of smells that
Yeah,
night.
right.
It hits you all at once, and you beyond gagging, you probably just throw up.
Yeah. No,
Like not just
definitely.
not just the smell, like the sight, like these. It's got to be at least 3 or 4 dozen just headless bodies lined up along the edge of this fissure. It's absolutely horrifying, and you can feel Escher at your back, kind of, patting you. Is there a healing cantrip he can use? Not really.
Yeah. It's okay. It is what it is. If you got some mint or something, I can put that under my nose.
Just like, sorry, I don't have any mint.
That's
It is
cool.
at this point Escher is going to cast Bless. He is going to bless each of you. Whenever you make an attack roll or saving throw, you can add a d4 to the number rolled. You can do that before or after.
Attack or saving.
Attack or saving throw, yes, you can add a d4. He's also going to smack each of you with resistance.
Yay.
All right, and so yes, you head in first, Vasha. After like gagging and probably puking,
Definitely puking.
Yeah.
Escher's in the back like, it's okay, but please, you are the stealthiest. You have to do this.
Baku's like gonna step over all the vomit, like, yay.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, the vomit is the gross part of this particular tableau.
Yes. Yes.
this
I mean,
has been
they
a
already saw it in the vision, so it's fine.
This is a vomit-heavy episode, which I didn't expect.
I steel myself and I just go inside.
You are just wading through this pile of corpses, and you see 2 obvious doorways. There's one that looks like maybe to some side room, although you doubt, like, based on what you saw from the outside of the building, you're not confident, like, the structure of any exterior room is really sound because, like, of how heavily the building is leaning away from itself, because it's, split up the
Yeah.
middle.
Split him, yep.
Yeah, it's split directly up the middle. And there also seems to be a door on the far side that is leading to a staircase going down. A spiral staircase into ominous darkness.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I wonder which
yeah.
ways we should go.
I wonder.
Can we hear anything at all?
The fissure itself is making an interesting sort of unearthly hissing sound. And it's kind of white noisy. Like, if you're not paying attention, you can forget about it. But when you are listening for something, it masks any sound that you would otherwise be able to hear.
Okay.
And yes, now and just observing the tableau, you realize don't touch the fissure. Don't touch that. That's gonna eat your flesh away. Apparently,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's
Okay.
not do that.
if you had to make an educated guess, you'd say it's probably literally non-existence, like the concept of non-existence leaking out and just chewing up anything in front of it.
So
Mm.
I want to take out. I'm going to take out the avatar. Does it react at all, or is it still just a?
I mean, it doesn't like glow in your hand. It's still just a bottle.
It's still just a little bottle, and you're like, God damn.
I don't know. I was thinking it's a weird vial. Thought it was going to be a sword. It's a vial.
You know what?
I
It's
know
fine.
you're so disappointed.
I really am. I thought it was...
Ember is like, I'm all about swords. I mean, this is not what I was. Not.
Okay, it could have been a hammer. I would have taken a throwing star, but it's a fucking perfume bottle.
Escher pats you on the back.
Yeah, Baku's like, it somehow fits you.
Throws you a dirty look. So I guess the only option is the stairs, right? I mean, can we? So when we inspect the people, it just looks like they were eaten by the nothingness, right?
On closer inspection, like now that you're really getting up close and looking at these dead bodies, they were bound. You can see their hands were bound behind their back most of the time, and they were sort of forced down guillotine style over the edge of the fissure, at which point
God.
their head was eaten away by this nothingness. It is very ritualistic and very creepy.
I think as Ember realizes this, he like takes a step back and he looks around. And he's like, "This is wrong. We have to stop this."
Escher, you can tell, like, as a cleric, he can perform last rites, but it's also like it takes quite a while to do. It's like an hour-long concentration thing. But it's still like he in his nature, he's like, I have to perform last rites for these poor people.
We can do that if we survive.
We don't have time right now. We have to.
Yes, we will. We absolutely will.
We
They
will. We'll
deserve
come
that.
back.
Yep.
It's the least that they deserve.
Yeah, I take him by the arm. He's
Yeah.
I completely understand, and we will do
Yeah.
this, but we can't do it now.
He just kind of nods weakly.
Okay. So- Yeah, there's nothing else in the room, right?
Nothing of value unless you want to go through all the pockets of the dead people.
No,
No,
that's
absolutely not.
fine. Okay, I have to tell you, in the next campaign when I'm a rogue, I will. But
Oh god, I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah.
But
Fucking
Escher,
let's go
but
right
Ember
now.
is a paladin, and
Ember's a paladin. We're not going to go through dead people's possessions. So, okay.
So,
Lawful
like,
good,
how do we
lawful
get to
good.
that staircase? Like, do we have to?
it's just a doorway. You can just go down.
Okay, I mean, like, yeah, we're not going to be swallowed by the nothingness.
The door,
we have to-
the door, it was kind of like you can tell, like the door frame is ajar, and the door itself sort of cracked in half and swung open. So yeah, you
Okay.
can just there's nothing stopping you from going down. Nothing at
Okay,
all.
so I-
Oh god, stop that.
I
Baku's
take
like,
out.
This is
the
Tessa's
sun sword and-
ASMR corner, bitch.
No.
This is garbage. I take out the sun sword and I activate it.
All right, you light up the sun lightsaber.
Oh,
Oh
shit!
yeah, I also have light. What can I?
Wait,
What
should
do I have that I can light up?
I don't actually.
Guys,
I shouldn't
this
do this.
ruins all of my stealthiness.
Okay, never mind. I put the sword away.
Okay,
I forget about it until I pull it out blazing, and then I'm like, "Oh, that's
but
really
I mean,
loud."
it's dark down there. How are we gonna see?
I have dark vision.
The rest of it's your problem.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
Vasha's
I
like,
am not
"Fuck,
a
I don't care about you."
human.
Gee, thanks, Vasha. So
Escher,
thoughtful.
Escher's like, I'm not really confident stealth is the best way to go. Like,
Yeah, no,
whatever's down there, we're gonna
That-
have to
that
kill
was
it.
That was out of character ribbing, you guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, Vasha's
I-
a little shit, but they're not that bad.
I have dark
Yeah.
vision. Anything else sounds like your problem.
Exactly. It's like,
I
okay,
guess
fine.
Yeah, if it hurt us, it would have hurt us already. I mean, the
Right.
Yeah.
noise we made outside would have been too much. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna take my sword out because I just don't want to have to. I think it's an action to open it, and I don't
Yeah.
want to have to deal with that.
It's not. It's open. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, the
It's
door
just-
frame
yeah,
is
it's
broken. The door frame is broken, so there's nothing to stop you. So you are taking the charge, Ember, with your sun sword out. Dick's out for Lathander.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's happening here.
All right, Dick's
But
out for
I'm still-
Lathander.
Okay, but I'm still careful. I'm not running in.
Ember slowly. It is a very, very tight, dark, cold spiral staircase. And Escher is probably behind you. It's like his natural instinct to be like, the fiance's going down. Gotta go in after him. So he's right behind you, probably hands on your back, like, don't worry, if something comes out and eats you, I have another spell slot to heal you.
Thanks, babe. It's so reassuring.
So you go down this very tight, dark spiral staircase, and Baku, you were the last, or probably either the second to last or the last one. And I guess it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But when you make it down to this very long, the bottom of this very long, tight spiral staircase, this is what you saw in your scrying vision. So, so far as you know, this is the place where Varain last was, to the best of your knowledge. There are a few insufficient flickering sconces attached to the walls, and because the walls are so badly damaged, they are at strange angles, and the way the light casts as a result of that is very strange to look at. There are even more bodies down here. There are just piles and piles of corpses all around. And at the very, very far end of this room, on the same side as you, of the fissure, there is a large, dark shape.
Oh no.
Berg.
What is...
It seems to be sitting down, although it is too dark for you to see it clearly. Although, Vasha, you have dark vision.
Uh-huh.
So you can tell it is hideously it is a hideously malformed creature. It's probably about 100 feet away. It is reclining on it's not like a throne. It's like a large stone chair that's sort of built into the wall, and it's sort of reclining, and it's leaning its head on one arm. It is looking in your direction, although it is not clear if it sees you.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I share that with the peanut gallery.
Okay.
out loud?
You don't have to whisper.
Oh god.
Hello?
I guess it's coming from the shape.
It is, yes.
Ember like holds his like sword forward, kind of like a torch, but also threateningly.
I knew you were here when the worm got his meal. Although it seems that the meal got him afterwards. Well done. The creature stands up at its chair, and it kind of steps over this massive pile of rotting corpses with these strangely, they're almost goat-like legs.
Oh no.
And he says, "Well, welcome. It's been a while, hasn't it?"
Ember like peers forward and he goes hesitantly, "Varain? Is that you?"
He says, "It seems like an ill-fitting name after all the transformations I've done to myself, doesn't it? But yes, I am the creature that was once Varain."
Oh man, buddy, I have to say I'm not liking the new look.
Baku is elbowing you like.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, if you had to get like plastic surgery done, you could have gone with both.
He kind of laughs and he says, "Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. This is my final form. This is what you're going to have to fight if you really are insisting on saving this pathetic, decrepit world."
You know, yep, that's what we're doing.
You're really sure? You have the opportunity to just leave and just let me finish my work.
I really don't think we do.
After seeing what we just did, no.
You killed all those people, and you think we're just gonna walk away?
It's just like, also, you're trying to end the world. I feel like that, like, on the priority list is a little...
A little higher.
I'm focusing on the ones in the room. Look, I just do one thing at a time.
The
world is too big.
Ember only knows how to look at what's in front of him.
It's entirely true.
It's like a dog.
Ember's like, there's other people in the world? That's shocking.
Varain chuckles, and then he makes a fist with one hand and crashes the giant stone seat apart, and he takes this enormous fragment of stone and he says, "Well then, just us 5, let's go! And let's leave it there for tonight."
All right.
Okay, gang, we didn't die tonight, so
Everyone, you have leveled up. You have leveled up. You are all now level 17.